Hey everyone, and welcome to another edition of Start Select. Coming up on this show, we'll be meeting Ensemble Studios to talk about Halo Wars, and we'll be talking to Microsoft's Robin Burrows about the new Xbox Experience, the new dashboard for the Xbox 360. And we're going to be giving away this, the Gemma Atkinson signed 2009 calendar. But first, let's go and head down into central London and go and see what's going on at the Wrath of the Lich King midnight launch. Alright guys, we're here on London's famous Oxford Street tonight at the HMV store. It's the store that's seen the launch of the PlayStation 3, the Nintendo Wii, but we're here tonight for an event that's going to eclipse them all. It's the launch of World of Warcraft, Wrath of the Lich King. I want to look at your sword, and usually if I say that in Oxford Street you should probably ignore me, but on this occasion I really do want to look at your sword.
Sure, this is Frostmourne, and it's the legendary sword of Arthas, the main character of the new World of Warcraft expansion, the Wrath of the Lich King, and this is the last weapon that's the most powerful it's supposed to be in the game, and this is actually a life-size replica of it that I had to get from the States. It's a limited edition, and it was nearly impossible getting it through customs.
You seem like pretty big fans.
Fans or not fans, I like the game itself, so I'm not fanatic, but I like the game, you know, so that's why I made an effort to dress up, so I think it's fun, you know.
You guys are pretty much last in the queue. A lot of people would say that is epic fail. There's already a couple of hundred people, I think, in the store, and there's at least like triple that around the back. This is literally the biggest launch I've ever seen. What about you guys?
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, it was a lot bigger than the Burning Crusade, the first expansion pack. I don't know whether you were here for that.
Yeah, this is much bigger.
All right, guys, so we're inside HMV Oxford Street now. It's pretty mental in here. It's about to get a whole lot mentaler. Outside, there are thousands of people, literally, queuing outside. It's the biggest launch I've ever seen in central London. You can see just behind me, there's the ticker, 50 minutes counting down till launch. The HMV reps just told me there's about 1,008 special editions piled up, a massive pile over there. And there's also, I think Blizzard are going to come on stage behind this massive ice sculpture here to sign copies of the game for people that have been queuing up for God knows how long.
3, 2, 1!
Ben West here, he's been pretty much not the first guy collapsed, didn't he? I think you were there waiting in the wings.
Yeah, I tried to warn him what it was going to be like, but he just couldn't do it towards the end. It's a shame, really. He's a real trooper. I mean, you know, 11 million people play this game. Yeah. You have to expect it to be huge.
All right, so Wrath of the Lich King's been in development for a little bit of time. Can you just tell us a little bit about what players can expect from this particular expansion pack?
Well, there's a number of things, but I think some of the highlights is we're going to be opening up an entirely new continent called Northrend. And in addition to that, which I think most people are really excited about, is the Death Knight hero class, where if you have a level 55 character, you'll be able to transform that character into a Death Knight.
Are you guys got any plans for releasing games on consoles in the near future at all?
You know, we're totally open to it, but I think what it really comes down to is the game that we're making. And if the game makes sense on console and we think that it would be a great experience for the players, if we think that the UI works and that we aren't having to make a ton of sacrifices for the depth of play that we want to do and the way that you input the information, you know, in a controller and what have you, then I think we would totally be open to it. It's all a matter of the content has to be right.
And do you plan to keep World of Warcraft going whilst this, whilst your new MMO is coming out? Is it a long-term project still, World of Warcraft?
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, there's 11 million subscribers. You don't leave 11 million subscribers hanging. We've been waiting for this day for quite a while. It's been a lot of hard work for all the developers and what have you on our staff, and so to have the opportunity to do this in 16,000 openings around the world, and especially for me to be on Oxford Street, it's quite exciting for us.
It's the launch that's had everything. We've seen tears, we've seen people passing out from the pure spectacle of it all, and it's without doubt the biggest launch I've seen on the streets of London in terms of video games. I've had enough, I'm out of here. Now, a couple of weeks ago, Luke Anderson was lucky enough to interview Gemma Atkinson, who stars in the new Command & Conquer Red Alert 3. The video interview is on the site if you want to have a look at it. But Gemma was lovely enough to sign a copy of her upcoming calendar, which I can say has been on my desk for a while. It's very nice. We're going to give it away to a lucky winner if you can name the character that Gemma plays in Command & Conquer Red Alert 3. If you can get that by the form of an email to us, competitions@gamespot.co.uk.
by the 24th of November. We'll get the winner drawn and we'll give the calendar away on the next Start Select. But now we're going to go and head over and speak to Ensemble Studios, who are going to tell us a little bit more about their upcoming RTS Halo Wars.
Hi everyone, we're down here at the Planetarium at the Royal Observatory in Greenwich. We're here for a Halo Wars event and we're going to be talking to Graham Devine, who's the lead designer behind the game. Go, go, go!
One of the first things that we did on the game was we spent about the first year just working on those controls. We took Age of Mythology and just before there was any Halo IP or any thought of any IP at all, just taking away all of the on-screen controls and all of the interface and all of this U-shaped thing that's at the bottom of every RTS game because it must be there. The big line across the top because it must be there and so forth, and moving all of that out and just thinking about what we wanted to do with a real-time strategy game. And when we started to think about the actions of what we wanted to do, I want to control a unit, I want to control an army, I want to move a unit, I want to move an army, and not actually thinking about porting the PC experience of, click select and then right click to move or left click to move or whatever click it is to move, and not trying to think about left clicking or right clicking or shift clicking or whatever you do in PC strategy games. We try to actually think about the end result. Then we started to get successful with the actual controls. I think one of the things that we changed just because it's a Halo game was when we first started to play the game, we were watching Halo players play the game from behind the silver mirrored thing, which is always a fun time because you can't talk to them. But talking to them afterwards in the debrief, one of the things they said was, well, I wish I could throw grenades. And all the infantry did was shoot guns and walk up and be like a classic RTS game. And so out of that fell the secondary abilities of all the units. So the ability for the infantry to throw grenades, the ability for warthogs to ram other things, the ability for Spartans to jack enemy vehicles. All of that is very Halo-like. And so that ability came from just being Halo. We want you managing that combat. We want you feeling that you're on the front line. And we especially want you to care about the combat. We don't want you just thinking of expendable army. So if that's a lot of the reason we added the secondary abilities into the actual game, and the reason we gave veterancy to the actual units. So as units get better, they get veterancy. I'm going to start caring about them more. I'm going to withdraw them and heal them. But yeah, I think if you play, there's some RTS games where it's expendable army, and those games, there's some very fun, but I don't think any designer wants to, that kind of back and forth in any game. I think it's fair to say that our game times are shorter than, classic RTS on a PC. I mean, you look for that 15, 20-minute experience, not 45-minute experience. So it definitely is a shorter experience when you play a skirmish game. But also getting you into combat faster too. I mean, we don't want you hanging around at your base and well, that's still about a strategy. It's called turtling, but you can still turtle if you want. But we really want you out there playing. 2 minutes into the game, if you aren't firing a gun, then there's something wrong. It's a Halo game. You're going into an IP and a story that is very well known by the fans. When we put out that Exo 6 trailer at the end, I mean, we gave the Spartans battle rifles. And we get nailed to the wall by the fans for giving them battle rifles because they didn't get battle rifles until 2552. And oh my goodness, this is 2526, and what the hell are you doing? So the fans are very aware of the story and the canon and the IP. So they are extremely aware of all the events and how the events played out. So if adding a new story in, especially, set as a prequel, is actually challenging from the canon perspective. But because it's set 20 years, we have enough space, and it's a very different time in the actual Halo universe. It's good to be able to tell the story with a different set of characters at a different time in the actual conflict. I came up with a set of characters that, in Halo Wars that I think that are more three-dimensional than normal characters in a game, because I always think if you make characters which are believable and you can actually think about what they do, that when they make decisions in 30 seconds that should take 4 weeks to actually do, you kind of believe it. Most of the writing and most of the story is actually in gameplay. Although there's many minutes of CGI, there's many more minutes of recording done for the actual gameplay. But also one of the ways of approaching story was that when the Halo FPS games, it's all about one person. It's all about Master Chief. So when we approach the story running for Halo Wars and how to do that, it's all about the crew of Spirit of Fire. So it's about multiple characters. So kind of the same way you play multiple characters on the ground, you have multiple characters which are in the story with multiple abilities kind of mirroring their, the RTS counterparts. Playing online and getting your stats tracked and going online and seeing that you're most accurate with with my Marine squads, or I've produced more Scorpion tanks than you by 5, I'm going to go play again, and so forth. All that stat tracking is in there, and all that's done as to how much we actually exploit that we haven't actually announced yet, but we like what you do in Halo 3 with all of that.
All right, the new Xbox Experience, as it's called, is a new dashboard for the Xbox 360, and it's going to launch on the 19th of November for all Xbox 360 owners that are connected to the internet. We were lucky enough to be invited by Microsoft to have a first look of the new interface, and we're going to go and head over and talk to Robin Burrows about it now.
Hi, I'm Robin Burrows. I'm the marketing manager for Xbox Live for Europe, Middle East and Africa. Today I'm going to take you through the new Xbox Experience, which launches on Xbox 360 consoles on November the 19th, 2008. I'm going to take you through the various channels and highlight what those channels represent and some of the key features of those. The one thing just to highlight from the very kickoff is that we've completely changed the navigation system of Xbox Live. Right now we call that navigation system the Blade system, where you swish from side to side between the games channel, the marketplace channel and the home channel. Well, what we've done, we've recognised that there's so much content now on Xbox Live, it's literally bursting at the seams. So what in essence we've done is we've re-engineered the whole system so that the content that you play the most and you activate the most becomes easier to find and becomes easier to access as well. As you can see from the profile itself, we've replaced or we've enhanced the 2D gamer card with a 3D avatar as the sort of personalization of you as a member of the Xbox Live community. You get a range of characters, and in theory you pick out the one that you think most resembles you, and that's where you start over. So we're launching with about 400 or 500 customizable options at launch. Our plan going forward is to refresh that content by adding in new wardrobes depending on fashions and times of season, but then to launch more formally a full avatar shop or avatar closet where you can, in theory, buy content from there. That content, from a vision point of view, can be branded content, so things like the latest training shoes from whatever brand, right through to the latest sports attire, could be football shirts, etc., right through to us working with gaming publishers to potentially have wardrobes or the clothes associated with particular gaming IP bought for your own avatar character. In 2009 we'll be introducing the concept of carryables. So if you win, say, Top Spin 5 or you win Guitar Hero Rock Band 7, then you unlock the Jimi Hendrix guitar, then you'll be able to physically see that. Spotlight really is our new features channel where we're highlighting new content coming onto Xbox Live that particular week. It allows us far more visibly to demonstrate that new content. Into the Friends channel. Friends channel completely changes from what it is right now into a far more visual channel. As you can see, there's a few things that can happen now within Friends channel. You've got an option there to invite to party. The party capabilities are 2 or 3-fold with the launch of this. You can invite people to party to have shared dialogue. You can't have shared dialogue across in terms of talking to people right now. We've enhanced that feature so you can have an Xbox Live party of up to 8 people all communicating with at the same time. If you're all intending to play the same game, you can use the quick launch facility, and that quick launch will quick launch you directly into a game far more quickly than it does just now. In later versions of the beta, you can have Xbox Live Party doing photo sharing capability, where you can share your photos from your digital camera or any other source directly across a group of people whilst chatting and communicating to each other. Inside Xbox is the next channel, which really allows us to show games that are either on Xbox 360 or coming to Xbox 360, or not even just games but other movie content as well. Here's Xbox Originals, which is all the Xbox V1 games. Community games is a good one. We are introducing community games more formally on November the 19th through the XNA. This in essence was the announcement we made last year of YouTube for gamers, in as much as budding young and old developers can make their own games and publish them through the community. The other key thing that we are known for is the world of Marketplace. Marketplace gets enhanced with the new Xbox experience and becomes more prominent. In essence, on Marketplace at the moment, you've got the game store and the video store. So that changes to game marketplace and video marketplace. So what you can do is you can save your game to hard drive effectively with this, which will improve load times quite considerably.
You still need the disc, and that's still
absolutely still need the disc. Yeah.
Okay. People that have an arcade or don't have a hard drive, is a similar scheme operating for people to be able to get memory upgrades to allow them to have NXE?
Yeah, so that memory unit program is actually a global program. Free memory unit for those who are identified who don't have one, and a memory unit upgrade for those who we've identified do have one, where they can buy a redeveloped hard drive for a premium price. Yeah, refurbished is the word. What we will continue to do is just keep on top of the most popular or most frustrating asks across our user groups, and then change those appropriately.
Alright, that's it for another edition of Start Select. Don't forget, you can enter the competition to win this calendar. It's competitions@gamespot.co.uk, and we need to know who Gemma plays in Red Alert 3. And don't forget to join us next time. We'll have plenty more stuff for you, as well as the winner of that competition.